3. And I realize I need to go over number 5 with you because I did not, on purpose, I did not put the results on Classroom because I wanted to see what you guys could do. Okay, here you go. D is congruent to B. And then I'm also given AB parallel to CD. Before I move on, Friday, and I'm going to keep telling you, the givens are provided for you to use them. There's a reason I gave you these are parallel, to find certain angles. So if I have AB is parallel to CD, can you find any alternate interior corresponding, same side interior, any of those special types of angles? Now remember what we just talked about. If you're going to give me two angles, they better be on these two parallel lines and have the same transversal in common. Kyle, what are the angles you got?
Angle B and angle C are alternate interior.
Okay, B and C. Do you see what I was just talking about? Here's angle B. It's on the what? Parallel line. Here's angle C. It's on the parallel line. And what's the second part of each of them? The same darn transversal. See how to locate these angles? So B and C are equal. Let's make sure we got the right reason. It's the same reason every time. I start out with parallel lines. You tell me it implies, and then you tell me what type of angles. And then Kyle just said, hey, they're alternate interior angles. Not good enough, though. Not good enough. You got to tell me they are congruent. Everyone's good. B and C are alternate interior. All right. Well, that's why they gave me these lines were parallel. Why did they give me that B and D were congruent? They must have told me that for a reason. They're just not going to say, here you go for you not to use it. B is congruent to C. B is also congruent to D. Put the two together. I don't know why I just hit that. Put the two together. And what do we come out with for a conclusion? Here we go. 23. I don't have my sheet on me. 23. Luke, good man.
D is congruent to C.
What makes you say D is congruent to C?
Because
Substitution. Questions? Oh, hold on. Everyone all right on this? Because I have one more point I want to make on this one. Okay. I don't know how many of you made this just two steps. Here's sometimes what I get. Oh, D and C are congruent because they're alternate interior. Ready? That's true. Guys at home, I 100% agree. D and C are alternate interior. Here's why they're not congruent, though. C. Angle C is part of BC. Everyone good? Angle D is part of DE. What would I need to know about those two lines right there for those two angles to be congruent? They got to be parallel, and I didn't know that. So that's why they are not congruent, because they're alternate interior. Okay? False. False. Okay, everyone good on this one? Okay, I know I got to go over 5. I'll get to it. Anything other than 5? Radhika, go.
So I have a specific question.
Yep, perfect, go.
Why can't you just say that 1 is alternate exterior to 4? Like, why do you have to do that?
Where are we looking here?
Number 1.
Question 1? This one right here?
Yeah, like, why can't you just say 1 is alternate exterior?
You could,
Oh, okay.
but I didn't. That's why I didn't put that in the statements. Yes, you could. Yeah. Hopefully you guys are noticing these proofs can be done multiple ways. Speaking of that, on number 2, I put one version up, how to get 1 congruent to 5, but that's not the only way to get 1 and 5 congruent. Okay? There are multiple ways now. Now that we're starting to add more theorems to our proofs, there are multiple ways of doing this. All right? Just like we just said for number 1. Yeah, this could have been a 2-step proof. 1 congruent to 4, parallel lines imply alternate exterior angles congruent. Yep. We got it. Number 4. Okay, here we go. Everyone see the angles I've put numbers on? You're probably going to use them. I put them there for a reason. Hey, look at me, use it, use it, use it. not actually look at me. You look at the numbered angles. All right. Here we go. Everyone, look what I was given. 2 sets of parallel lines for a reason. Let's take the first set. EF is parallel to BC. Take a look at those first, please. EF, BC. Can you find any pairs of special angles formed by FE and CB? And the same transversal. Can we do that in this problem? What 2 angles are special angles up here because they're formed by CB, FE, and the same transversal? What are those angles up here? We got to get better at finding these angles if our diagram doesn't look like our classic 8-angle diagrams. What do you got?
2 and 4 are corresponding.
2 and 4, everybody. Take a look. Angle 2 is on CB. Angle 4 is on FE, and they both share transversal BG. Everyone sees that. So now you just got to figure out 2 and 4, what type of angles are they? Corresponding. So angle 2 is congruent to angle 4 because they're corresponding. I didn't write the reason because I know it's coming up next. All right, that's why they gave us those parallel lines. They also gave us ED is parallel to AB. All right, let me highlight those bad boys. Ready, everybody? ED, AB are parallel. Can you find any angles formed by those 2 lines in the same transversal? DE and AB. Anybody find 2 lines, 2 angles that are formed by those 2 parallel lines in the same transversal? Emily, let's roll.
Angle DEG is corresponding to angle ABC.
Let me just write it down. DEG and AB. What'd you say for the other one? AB? EABG. Doesn't matter. Yep. Everyone take a look. Here's the one Emily's talking about. Here and here. Guys, do you see what I'm talking about when the angles have to be, one part of the angle has to be the parallel line, the other part of the angle has to be the transversal. That's how you find these special angles. And anybody know why I waited and wrote them in the same step? You don't have to, but why was it okay for me to write these 2 in the same step? Radhika, go.
Because they're both like using parallel lines to say that they're corresponding.
They're both corresponding angles, and I'm going to use the same reason. If you had step 2 and step 3 separate, fine. Parallel lines imply corresponding angles congruent. All right, I've used all the givens. So now what am I going to do with these corresponding angles to get to 1 and 3? Right? That should be, I'm always honest with you guys. I'm never going to sugarcoat this. We should know why now. What I can do with these 2 corresponding angles to get to 1 and 3. What do you guys do? Go ahead. Subtract them. Okay, I don't have to write that out. Bigger angle minus angle 2, bigger angle minus angle 4, and then substitution. Okay, we should be at that point once I showed you how to get the corresponding angles. Everyone good here? Any issues? And I say there's multiple ways of doing it, not this one. There was only one way of doing this one. Maybe the order of your corresponding angles were switched, but that's about it. Everyone's good with 4 before I get to the beast. Everyone ready for 5? Let's go. Let's go with 5. Multiple ways of doing 5, by the way. Oh, sorry. And I got the whole bisects in there. We can, I'll have to write that in. All right, let's roll. First, let me highlight the angles we need to prove. Whoop. Whoop. There they are. Those are my 2 angles I need to prove. This is not going to be a 2-step proof, right? Because those angles are not corresponding. I don't know if anybody thought that. They're not corresponding. Again, here's why. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I got to drive this point home. Okay, that side's on the parallel line. And so is this side, right? But do they share the same transversal? No, so they're not any special angles. They gotta share the same transversal. All right, so how do I get to this point? Good news, 3 different ways to do this proof. Excuse me. 3 different ways. 3 different ways. Ready? Okay, I'll show it my way that I approached it, and then I'll ask you guys if you guys did it another way. Real quickly, CGE, this angle right here, and AEJ. Everyone see those? I just put an arc mark. What type of angles are those? Woo! 13. Sorry, I don't have any. 13, that's got to be home. 13.
That's me.
Hi. What type of angles did I just mark there?
Corresponding.
Corresponding, so they're congruent, right? So I have angle AEJ congruent to angle CGH, everybody? No, I'm sorry, CGE. Watch your mouth. Okay, parallel lines imply corresponding angles congruent. Got it. Everyone's good. Now, do you see the other pieces I would need to add on to it to get to the full angle I need? Everyone sees those angles right here? Let me show you. Probably don't want to use purple. There we go. If I can find these 2 are congruent, JEF and EGH, if you could show me why those are congruent, what can I do with the angles to get to the full ones? I can add them up. Okay? So why are these 2 equal to each other? That's how we ended Friday's class. Bisects, bisects. Aren't these 2 angles halves of equal quantities? Yep. So I don't want to write it all out for time's sake, but you need to tell me you're taking half of JEB again, just like we did on Friday, and telling me that's equal to JEF, and then half of EGD, and telling me that is EGH. We did, again, this is exactly what we went through. I think it was this, I don't know, was it the other angle or this angle on Friday? I forget. Definition of bisects. And then don't forget the step we needed now. Halves of, equal quantities, right? So whatever I took, somebody name me an angle I just took half of. JEB. And what's the other angle I took half of? EGD. They need to be congruent before you use halves of equal quantities. And are they congruent? JEB and EGD, are they congruent? Yep. Why? Corresponding. So I just stuck it up in number 2. Everyone see where we're going here? I'll just do step 4 with you. So now angle JEF and EGH are congruent because of halves of equal quantities. And then what did you guys tell me to do to each of those 2 parts to get to the whole angle? Addition, substitution, yep. Okay, that's the way I approached it. Then I did addition and substitution. There are 2 other ways. Anybody come out with that 2 other ways?
I did basically the same steps, but I did it a little out of order. Like I have corresponding angles are equal down twice because I didn't put them down the same step.
Mm-hmm.
But so long as I got the proper work, is it fine if I didn't have them all in the same order?
The only thing, Sophia, that had, like before you wrote halves of equal quantities, like my step 4, you had to have step 3 and 1 pair of corresponding angles before that. That was a must. Okay? See what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, I think the first step I wrote down was the definition of bisect.
That's that's fine. That like 2 and 3 could have been flip flop. That's fine. Okay, 2 and 3 could have been flip flop. Okay, the other I do want to show you because you are honors kids, and some of you may see this. Ready? Let me highlight my angles again. Remember, we just did halves of equal quantities? You could do halves of equal quantities, but for the other 2 angles. Anybody know anything about straight angles? Equal to 180, and they're equal to each other, aren't they? Anybody see subtraction I could do here? Take the straight angles minus the halves of equal quantities angles. Oh, not bad, huh? Yep. Or, ready? Let's just keep going. You want more because you're hungry. What do I know about these two angles right here? AEF and FEB. Linear pair, they're supplementary. Same thing down here, right? Well, halves of equal quantities say these are equal. Supplements of congruent angles are congruent. Another way to do it. Unbelievable. There's your 3 ways. Everyone good with the proofs? This is going to be tough, and you guys know the train doesn't stop. Anything else I can answer for you guys here before I go around and look at your homework? You guys are in class. Okay, you guys at home, clean it up. You can submit it if you have time. Alrighty. We're going to reverse everything today. All the proofs now are going to be in reverse. Reverse. What do I mean by reverse? Every single proof you guys did over the weekend in the givens, what did you know about the lines? They were parallel. Now you're going to prove that. Okay, you're going to prove the lines are parallel. All right, not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Again, though, you got to know where those special angles are. Okay? So take a look at my first example there. I know there's, 5 different ways we have written down at the top. I don't need to read those to you because you guys will pick them up pretty quickly. All right, so what I want you to do right now, in number 8, we're saying angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Everyone focus on where angle 1 and angle 2 are right now for me. Okay, angle 1 and angle 2. Some of you may be able to do this already. Do you know what type of angles 1 and 2 are, other than congruent? Okay, so I have 1 and 2 are congruent. Can we identify what type of angles those are? Special angles. Special angles. I hope we can. We'll find out, right? Oh, 8. Got my cheat sheet. 8, if you want to chime in, go ahead. Here we go, Ryan. What type of angles are 1 and 2?
Corresponding angles.
Good job. Corresponding. And they're congruent. So if you know 2 angles are corresponding and they're congruent, automatically makes my lines what? Parallel. Now, here's the difficult part. What are the lines that are parallel then if 1 and 2? Ready? Highlight them if this helps. Here's angle 1. Here's angle 2. Do you see the 2 lines that should be parallel to each other, non-intersecting? What are those 2 lines? R and S. Everyone see. Because 1 and 2 are congruent, we now know for number 8 that R is parallel to S. Do you see that? Okay, let me give you a bonus question. What's the transversal then for those 2 angles? If R and S are the parallel lines, what's the transversal? Go ahead, guys. U. Okay, are we seeing this now? All right, that wasn't good enough. In the directions it says, state what lines are parallel and tell me why. Okay, what type of angles were they? Corresponding. So remember what we wrote. Do I still have it up here? I think I do. Yep, remember what we wrote over the weekend? Parallel lines imply corresponding angles are congruent. All you're going to do now, flip it. Because now you're proving the lines are parallel. That's all we're doing when you're proving the lines are parallel. So now all I'm going to say here, or here, is corresponding angles congruent imply what now? If I have 2 angles that are corresponding and congruent, that means the lines are parallel. So we're flipping our reason today if I'm proving lines parallel. Whew. Everyone all right? I don't know how many we'll get to because I want to make sure I get to the proofs before we end class. All right, guys. 1 doesn't make you great. What about number 9? Clean slate, clean slate. So 2 and 9 are congruent now. 2 and 9. 2 and 9. Do they have a special relationship? If they do, what is it? What type of angles are 2 and 9? 2, 2. Here we go. Hannah, what type of angles are 2 and 9?
They're are they ulterior alternate exterior?
You got it. They're alternate exterior. And then what should we usually know about alternate exterior, guys? Should they usually be congruent or supplementary? Congruent, and that's what they are. So now the question is, what are my parallel lines here? What 2 lines must be parallel if 2 and 9 are congruent? That's why it's nice to highlight them. You can kind of see what lines are parallel. 21, here we go, Zach. What 2 lines have to be parallel up here?
V and U.
V and U. So U parallel to V. Bonus question, what's the transversal? S, yep. Reason? Alternate exterior angles congruent imply parallel lines. Go ahead, Kyle, what's up?
It's kind of a silly question,
Nope.
but if I can I switch congruent and angles so it says like alternate exterior congruent angles?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But I gotta have the congruent in there somewhere.
Okay.
Some people start off it with congruent corresponding angle. That's fine.
It doesn't matter.
As what you got it, because corresponding angles by themselves doesn't make lines parallel. You got to have them congruent. Okay, that's got to be in there. Good question. All right, let's go to, I don't want to do 10. I want to do 11. All right, let's skip to 11. Ooh, now I'm telling you 7 and 8 are supplementary. Is that good enough to say lines are parallel? 7 and 8 supplementary, $1.80, huh? Well, let's go to 7 and 8 first. What type of angles are 7 and 8? Ooh, right up at the top. Vinny, what type of angles are 7 and 8?
Same side interior.
Good, and they should usually be supplementary, which they are. Perfect. So I have something's parallel to each other. Can I get somebody else to tell me now what lines must be parallel then if 7 and 8 are supplementary? Highlight them if it helps. You'll see the parallel lines. Luke, go ahead. What 2 lines must be parallel up here?
Is it R and S?
R and S, yep. You guys know bonus. What's the transversal for 7 and 8? V, yep, you're picking it up. Good, good. Because here we go. Same side interior. And I know some of you guys may like to call it consecutive interior. That's fine too. 7 and 8. Ready? Our parallel lines are R and S, right? They're inside on the same transversal, V. Good? Same side interior angles. Now I'm not going to put congruent. What do I need to write? Supplementary. They're not congruent. Same side interior angles, supplementary, imply parallel lines. One more, number 14. One more and then we'll get the proofs. Three and 7. You struggling with this? What type of angles 3 and 7 are? Nobody's struggling, huh? If you are, that's okay. Here's why. Everybody think, well, 3 and 7, do they share the same transversal? Do you see any lines in common at all? Look at this side. U, nope. The other angle doesn't have U. Here's angle, or here's line S right here. They don't have S. Here's V. Here's R. Do they have any transversal in common? No! No! So what am I trying to tell you? If they don't have a transversal in common, no relationship. Don't tell me they're alternate interior corresponding, they have nothing in common. So if you tell me 3 and 7 are congruent, great. I can't prove any lines parallel though. Okay? No lines are parallel here. And then sometimes look at, wait, Mr. Carlino, wait a second. Isn't 7 and 9 equal to each other because they're corresponding, and 9 and 3 are equal? So I could get parallel line. No! Are 7 and 9 equal? Do you know the lines are parallel? Oh, got 7 and 9 are corresponding, but they're not equal until the lines are parallel. Do we know the lines are parallel? No. So you can't say 7 and 9. Are we good on why 3 and 7 do not have a relationship? We're good. So that's it. No parallel lines. Okay, how do we feel about finding the lines? Because now it's an actual statement's reasons coming up. Here we go. These are going to be tough. Okay, here we go. Look at your proof statement first. Take a look at your proof statement. ST parallel to UV. So look at those lines for me right now. ST and UV. Do you guys see any angles up there that are special types of angles with ST and UV? Particularly the numbered ones, please. Anybody see any special angles up there from ST and UV? I hope so. What do you got, Kyle?
Angle 2 and angle 3 are alternate interior.
Does everyone agree? Everyone, can you see in the diagram that 2 and 3 are alternate interior? Can we see that? Okay, so here's what I'm going to have you do. If these lines are going to be parallel, what must I know about angle 2 and angle 3? If those two lines are going to be parallel, what should I know about 2 and 3? They should be congruent. So that is your new goal right now. You need this first. Okay, I need 2 congruent to 3. Can you get me there? Can you get me there without using parallel lines? Can you get me 2 congruent to 3 without saying anything about parallel lines? Because I don't have any right now. None were given. How can I get to 2 congruent to 3 without saying anything about parallel lines? Get me there. Here we go. Caroline, get me there.
They have the same transversal.
Okay, I need a little bit more of that. Remember, hey, your givens are provided for a reason, Caroline, to look at them and to use them, right? 2 and 1 are equal. 1 and 3 are equal.
So if 2 and 1 are equal and 1 and 3 are equal, then 3 and 2 are equal because substitution.
There you go. Everyone see how I got there without using parallel lines, okay? Because you cannot say 2 and 3 are equal because they're alternate interior. No, you don't have parallel lines. You can't use them. Now that 2 and 3 are equal, what do we know about my lines? We needed 2 congruent to 3 so we could say, what about ST and UV? They're parallel now. And remember, we're just going to flip our reason. What type of angles are these? Alternate interior angles congruent imply parallel lines. So that's how I want you to do these parallel line ones, is look at the lines that you need parallel and see if you can pull out angles for me. Let's try it one more time with this next one. And I'm pretty sure the bell will cut us off, but that's fine. I just at least want to get the main idea down. Start with the lines you need parallel, the prove lines. KM, I need parallel to LN. Right now, can you identify any angles up there that are special angles formed by KM and LN and the same transversal? Because that's how I'm going to start this proof. You need, anybody find those two angles up there that are formed by KM and LN? Think you got it, Maeve? 2N? Yeah, well, they're what type of angles? All right, so 2 and 4. What am I going to need to know about 2 and 4? They need to be congruent or supplementary. Okay, that's your goal right now. Using all your givens, somehow get 2 and 4 equal. Can I do substitution like I did on the last one? No. 1's congruent to 2, 3's congruent to, there's no substitution to use there. All right. So I got to get it another way. Let's see here. It also look what it also gives us, guys. JM is parallel to KN. Can you guys find any angles formed by those? Radhika, go. 1 and 3 on those lines. 1 and 3 are corresponding, so they are congruent. So 1's congruent to 3. Ooh, how do I write this? What's the reason?
Parallel lines.
I got to start with parallel lines now, right? Woo! Parallel lines imply corresponding angles congruent, just like we did over the weekend. Okay, how can I, remember, I need 2 and 4 equal those somehow. You think we can get there? Okay, how many pairs of equals do you have right now written down? 1, 2, 3. That should signal what about how many times you got to use substitution? Twice, right? I know we're running out of time here, but let's take 1's congruent to 2, 1's congruent to 3. Which angle should be equal then? 1 and 2 are equal, 1 and 3. 2 and 3. Substitution. And then use the 2 that you haven't used yet. 3 and 4, 2 and 3. What do you get out of that? 2N? 4? Those are the ones I needed. Now my lines are parallel. Okay, so 2 substitutions to get to 2 and 4. That's what I want you to do tonight on the homework. Find out what you need first tonight on the homework, all right? Find out what you need first on the homework. And you guys know, don't give up. We'll fix anything tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. Good work today. Good work. I feel confident with you guys.